Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to game 1 of this best of 3. It's from the Zotac Cup and it is the semi-final. So, do you know what that means, guys and girls? It does of course mean that we have got some great players. Let me introduce them to you. In the top right position, as the red Protoss, we do have Fraer. And in the lower left, as the blue Zerg, we do have Nerchio. So, that means that it is a ZVP. The map is Daybreak, which everyone loves, and for those of you wondering, hey, what else happened? Well, let me just tell you, the quarter-final-wise, these two got to this position by Fraer 2-0ing Damaga, and Nerchio going 2-1 against Rockus' Live Zerg. So, pretty even. They have both taken out some nice players coming up into this. They are both doing pretty well in the standings for the Zotac Cup anyway. So this should be a pretty close game. Nerchio going to be going for a 14 or 15 ball into a quick expansion, and then assuming that it's a fast expand because of this pylon here, we'll see about a 4 to 4 minute 20 third base from the Zerg. Meanwhile for Fraer, his biggest choice right now after committing to this pylon here is, do I go for a Nexus first or a Forge first? Generally speaking, I think that it'll be a Forge first on this map, just to be a little bit careful, although a Nexus first is viable as well, because it's quite a long rush distance. It just depends if you want to be risky or not, it depends what you've seen, and for the moment, obviously, we've got Fraer with the probe here, so he's keeping a good look around. He's going to see the timing of this spawning pool. See, it's the 14 spawning pool, which is slightly earlier than the 15, obviously, and therefore may make Fraer go for the Forge first, but as we're seeing, he's already up to a good amount of minerals, so pretty much certain it's going to be a Nexus now, and that puts you in a slightly better economic standing, but means that you don't have the option to cannon third base if you wanted to do that, and it also means that you are slightly more vulnerable early on. But as we've got the probe here, there we go, Nexus coming down, and it's all looking fairly good for both these two guys. So a little bit of pro blocking of the natural. This is really irritating. Anyone who's ever played Zerg will know just how frustrating it is when you get your natural blocked, and if a pylon goes down, you just want to flip the table. It's not a massive problem, it is just so frustrating. It's just like, oh, now I've got to take the time to get some Zerglings and maybe take my third base first if I'm feeling brave, but it's like Fraer can hear me. Look at this. Look at this madness, this poor little drone. He's just there like, this is gonna take forever. My tiny little pincers are not cut out for this. I'm meant to get minerals, and that is that. But of course, the pylon is allowed to finish, so it is a big commitment from Fraer going for that, and he can afford to do that because he's got the next up first. So because therefore the 100 minerals aren't such a big waste. But Fraer is now supply blocked temporarily. That is very frustrating for him, and he doesn't actually have another pylon in production yet. This is absolutely huge. Fraer supply blocking himself for a huge amount of time. He still hasn't built a pylon. Oh my goodness. Build a pylon, Fraer. Fraer, build a pylon. Fraer, there we go. Phew. Phew. There we go. It's down. Well, it's another Nexus down. That's it. But, aside from that, no more pylons. So, yeah. Stressful. Anyway, what have we got going on? Not too much. Third base up. That came down at roughly 4 minutes 20. So good timing out of Nerchio there. The reason it's slightly low is because you got for 4 Zerglings as opposed to the 2. If you do go for 2 Zerglings, you can hit close to the 4 minute mark, which is good in most cases as far as I'm concerned. Getting out sooner when you know your opponent's gone next first is ideal, but the 4 Zerglings needed to deal with the pylon blocks, so that's why we saw Nerchio get those out. Now, while we're waiting just for these two to really reveal the sort of strategies they're going to be going for in the mid game, please can I all remind you that if you like my casting, make sure that you like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I'm sure you'll know why you should like and comment, because interaction's cool. I try and answer as many as I can, and liking the video just means that hopefully more people will see the casts, and if you like it, or any content you see on YouTube, you should always like it if you like it, because it just helps other people recognise what's good and what's enjoyable. So yeah, that's why. Now, back to the game though. Still not much being revealed. We've got +1 coming out, which that straight away says that a Mortal Sentry all-in's a possibility, some kind of Warp Gate all-in is a possibility, because we do have the Chrono Boost coming down on the Cyber Core to get lots of Warp Gate tech out, and as a result, you've always got to be a little bit concerned about that. The Overlord placement, though, for Nerchio is brilliant. I love putting the Overlords here, because one of the most common places you'll see a pylon is just chucked in this position. You can get a pylon here. You can also see, for example, that probe on its way over briefly, and, well, now this Stalker and Zealot are going to get taken down very comfortably by the large excess of Zerglings that Nerchio does have available. There goes down the single Zealot. The Stalker will be able to get away because speed isn't even in production yet. The first 2 gas up now for Nerchio. He's getting up his Rotron as well. And here comes some gateways, so 5 gate pressure. Are we going to see any more gates? For the moment, the answer is 9. We will not. And yeah, that basically means it's easy to expand out of. 5 gate pressure, very nice. You can poke, you can prod, you can maybe get some kills, and you can definitely put on a good amount of pressure to the 3rd. And if Fraer was able to take that down, then all in all, Nerchio would be in a bad spot. And of course, with only going 5 gate as opposed to say 7 gate, you're able to take your 3rd base in a relatively timely fashion, so that's fine. The thing which we're looking for is this, of course, the pylon. The Overlord isn't going to scout it out yet, so straight away Nerchio knows where Fraer's put that proxy pylon, and once you've identified the proxy pylon, you just have to really take it out ASAP. We've got more spine crawlers coming down. The 3rd and 4th gas timing was spotted, of course, perfectly by the Overlord, who unfortunately does not see the robotics facilities. So it's a tech up. That's fine. Fraer's going to be able to apply a little bit more pressure. He's going for a good number of Zealots here as well. So to be honest, this is going to do nice damage. But the roaches now just hitting out means that Fraer is not going to be able to push into that. With the roaches there, you just can't engage with so many Zealots because you need more Stalkers to cost effectively deal with that, otherwise you'll just get kited. So as a result, this pylon is going to go down. Fraer is going to be frustrated by that. He's supply blocked temporarily again, and that in itself is really going to make quite a big difference to how this game goes, because we've seen 2 quite substantial supply blocks from Fraer already this game, and at this level of play you can't really afford to be doing that. And as a result, Nerchio is starting to get nicely ahead. He's got a good worker lead already. Now his 3rd base is, well, he's droning really heavily. He's about to skyrocket through the drone count. He's also got a nice army out on the field as well. He's actually nearly equal in army supply. He's not going to be able to kill anything really with this small Zergling roach force, I don't think. But he is able to apply the pressure and just be quite frustrating. The War Prism is getting chrono boosted out. That means the potential for some drop play. Also the potential just to reinforce very quickly now the proxy pylon's down. But what we're seeing from Nerchio is a Spire get chucked down, if I can find it. There we go. So Spire is on the way. Spore Crawlers there, ready to deal with any kind of air harassment or any kind of drops that might try to go in as well. So Nerchio really thinking out everything that could be a problem to him. The only place he doesn't have a Spore, well, actually, he only has a Spore in his main. He could do with one just at his 3rd and potentially natural as well. I mean, he has got the Overseer of the natural just in case of DTs, so that's not a huge problem. But I put one at the 3rd just to make sure that you're a little bit more comfortable. Generating creep at the 3rd base is a great move every Zerg player should go for, because if you do manage to get up, it delays the 3rd base so heavily. Of course, it also gives a nice check on your opponent's army size, so Nerchio is really looking quite comfortable. I believe an Overlord, or he must have seen this with something, because he's pulling straight away back, and he's got a good number of units on their way. He's keeping everything around. As we can see, a good number of Zerglings just protecting the Spire because that's so important. The rest of these units is coming straight up into the main. That Overlord there, 99% sure saw it. So as a result, this drop is not going to be able to do much at all. Going to come down, but see roaches there straight away. Fraer realizes and has no choice but to pull back. The 11 Mutas though, my goodness, that is going to be the problem. This War Prism is so dead. This army is not kit out to deal with Mutalisks in the slightest. There's only 2 Stalkers, and as a result, Nerchio could be about to deal an awful lot of damage, and this game could get quite interesting. Nerchio is taking his 4th base as well, because the thought process there is if you've gone for Mutalisks, you have already committed to taking a lot of map control. You're going to be really forcing your opponent to be back to defend against the harassment, and as a result, you can afford to do things like this double expand, because if your opponent's defending, they're not going to be attacking you in most situations. The War Prism does need to get dealt with though, because otherwise this top 5th base may be forced to cancel. But in come the Mutas, no defense in the main at all. I mean, Blink is not even finished yet, and if Blink was able to get knocked out, which it doesn't look like Nerchio is going to target, it would be devastating against these Mutas. But a good number of probes going down. These Stalkers are going to be able to take it out head on. They blink back straight away, but as we can see, damage being done, a nice scout out on the robotics bay timing. Still so many units out of position, some a couple of sentries trying to get back. These Stalkers are getting engaged head on, they're trying to blink back, but as we can see, Nerchio just with great control at the moment. He's still getting more Mutalisks out as well, and look at this, a massive push coming into the 3rd base as well. With the Mutas, with all of these Zerglings, And the fact that Fraer's army split up, Nerchio is absolutely going to start destroying this. He's picking off the sentries expertly, and now we'll be able to deal with those immortals very fast indeed, making roaches just so strong. The Warp Prism, I'm not sure where that went, but oh no, here we go. So the Warp Prism is coming down. The Zealots have already been dropped down into the third, so a bit of counter aggression and harassment coming on here for Fraer. But all in all, look at that count, 14 workers killed compared to what is 2. Maybe going to go up to about 4 by the time this is over. Unfortunately, the Zealot's trying to focus the hat-trick, so not getting the drone kills, but 15 to 5. Still more going down here with the Mutalisks. To be honest, Nerchio is in a great spot. He's taken the worker count to 42 for Fraer compared to just under 70 for himself. More Mutas on the field. He's already up to 21 Mutalisks. With those additional 5, that takes him on to 26. And while he's keeping the Stalker count low, he's not got anything to worry about. And Fraer just GGing out there, knowing he's lost too much, being down to just the 35 workers. And, well, Nerchio comfortably takes game 1. Remember, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe. And then flick over to my channel. I'll see you at game 2 any second. Bye for now.